Hey there, welcome to the Mountain of God. My name is Camille. Today is the 31st of May 2021. Welcome to video number 41. Today I want to talk about being skillful, which I would suggest to work on when you're not really yet in your calling or when you're going through the lessons of patience. And I'm going to talk about it because I just thought about one thing. I thought about Moses. And I'm gonna read you a little bit what happened. You know this story, but it made me laugh. You remember when the Moses is meeting God, and he basically asks him to go to Pharaoh and basically lead Israelites out of Egypt. And God is saying, "Listen, I've seen what's going on. I'm I want to take my people out of Egypt." And he says, "You'll take elders and you're going to go to the Pharaoh and tell him, that this is what I want to happen. And they'll believe you. He won't, but they'll believe you. But if they'll have any issues with believing you, these are the three miracles you want to have, as a ace in your sleeve, just to have something to persuade them." And he gives him the miracle of the staff which turns into snake, the leper's hand that he heals right away, and the third one was to pour the water from Nile on the ground and it will turn to blood. And even though God is speaking to Moses personally, he shows him one miracle being the burning bush, showing him three other miracles that happens right there on the spot. And one even interesting thing as a side note is that Moses doesn't really seem to be surprised by the fact that God is speaking to him. But maybe just not in the text. But after all of this, when God tells him what's going to happen exactly point by point, what he can expect from everyone included, this is what Moses says. This is Exodus chapter 4, verse 10. Moses said to the Lord, and this is NIV translation. English is not my primary language, so I don't want to read from King James Version or something. So he says basically something like this: "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I'm slow of speech and tongue." And God, being patient, replies to him, Who gave human being their mouth? Who makes them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you to speak, and I will teach you what to say." And then Moses replies, "Pardon your servant, Lord. Please send someone else." It made me laugh that after everything that Moses saw, it wasn't enough. And you've got to understand that Moses is not some guy from village out of nowhere. Moses was raised in Pharaoh's house. He just has to go home. He has to deal with things that they're not new to him. There's something that he was in. And even though that was his experience, that was his upbringing, even though he saw all these miracles, even though God is speaking to him himself, it wasn't enough. And the reaction from the Lord is obvious. Then the Lord's anger burned against Moses. Surprise, surprise. So see, this is one of the things that it kind of made me laugh and make me think at the same time, because it just shows that your own complexes, your own fear of things, your own insecurities might be bigger and more important to you than talking to God himself, seeing miracles right there. He saw 4 miracles. not even hearing exactly what's going to happen, that He will with you, He will teach you, He will tell you what to say. For Moses, his own fear of whatever was bigger than all of this combined. So see, that's why one of the things that I want you to think about is, especially if you are before being called, if your burning bush didn't really happen yet, or you are on the path to getting there, because maybe you see the lessons of patience that he's teaching right now, or you just know, and it's not yet the time, but you're on the road. You kind of preparing yourself mentally, at least, and you want to get there. This is what I want you to think about 3 things how you can prepare yourself and not being like Moses, who is arguing with God, even though God is telling him, listen, this is what I want you to do. And God had to involve the brother of his to make this whole thing happen. But that's a story for another day. So there are 3 things. One of them, I want you to understand that exactly as in the story of Moses, many times what you've been taken through life, what even things that are your passion, they will given to you for a reason. And we talked about it a lot. But I want you to understand that there are some things that you may say, if someone wants to or loves public speaking, that might be handful. If someone loves, I don't know, learning languages, that might seem plausible that it's going to be used. But many times we don't see that our hobbies, our things that we just like doing, nothing really fancy, they may change you. They may explain a lot about what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be called to, and many times they're going to teach you important lessons that are going to be important for you to apply when you're going to get called. Because maybe like me, you just like doing photography, and you see, how is that going to be connected to anything? But if you look, and look for the deeper levels, deeper layers of what this thing can help you understand, maybe you're going to get to the same point as I did, that it helps you to read people. It helps you to talk with them and kind of manage them as you do with people who are you doing photos with or to. Maybe you're gonna find out, as I did, that something like love of music or just lessons of drumming that you took, just few of them somewhere in the past, they'll teach you and put you in a completely different spot as a worshiper, as an intercessor, and even more, combining these 2 in one. Maybe you don't understand that maybe your love for football or any other kind of sport will teach you leadership. Maybe you don't understand that you loving spending time painting for hours will teach you how to focus, or teach you how to use your imagination, how God will be able to speak to you through the art, or through simply your ability to see world in your head. Or maybe you just like doing, cross puzzles, and it will teach you to be knowledgeable, or it will teach you how to pay attention to details. Those small things that we just think, oh, this is just my hobby. Don't underestimate the things that they were put in you, that you have loved forwards or loved to. Because that might be mighty lessons that will teach you amazing things that will be used in your calling. You just need to pay attention to why they are there, what they are really teaching you, and why you really love them. Point number 2. Maybe if you've got some idea what you want to do or what you will be called to, maybe you know that there are some things that maybe they are not really something that you like, but maybe you will say, maybe it would be good to learn that because it will probably fit really well with the calling. Maybe you know that you'll have some exposure to groups of people. Maybe it's a good idea to, learn how to do public speaking. How to get enough experience you will not be afraid to do so. Even though maybe it scares you, maybe you don't like it, maybe Maybe it's not something that you really even want to do, but maybe it's a good idea just to go and visit, I don't know, Toastmasters group or whatever, other organizations that teach public speaking, because you know it's going to be worth it. Maybe it's going to be a good idea to learn languages. Maybe it's going to be a good idea to expose yourself to some dignitaries or people from these areas, because maybe you know that your calling might be connected to cooperating with people from government, or maybe entertainment industry. Maybe you just want to learn how to not be starstruck. You see, there's tons of these elements that you may want to learn to be good at, just in case it will be used. It's not only prepare you for the calling, but it will help you to feel much more comfortable with things that you might be doing in a short, or maybe not even so short, time from now. Because your calling will require from you a lot of skills. And if you know that some of them, even though they're scary, might be good to have, because you know that it's gonna probably happen, or probably you're gonna need it anyway. Be smart enough just to, play and kind of expose yourself to things in advance, just because you know that it might be worth it. And point number 3, as always, I'm gonna send you back to your father and just maybe proactively ask him, so listen, what do you think I might want to look for? What do you think might be good for me to get some exposure to, some experience? Because if you understand how your relationship with God works, you will see that many times when you get this proactive way of thinking, or basically being proactive, you'll start to see that he'll say, interesting. All right, you want more? I'll give you more. And then you'll see that he will give you much more exposure, much more experience, some situations, people who just out of nowhere going to be put in your way just because you've asked to learn more. Just because you didn't want to stop on where you've been put, or what was already happening in your life. You want to be a little bit proactive. You wanted to prove that you want to be prepared. So you see, those 3 things will put you in a completely different spot. Because first of all, you're going to look for the details. Look to understand more. As God is teaching you through these lessons of patience, you'll try to get more powerful just because you want to understand more from what you're already in. Second, because you want to be proactive, there are some things you can expect that are going to be needed. By doing that, you show that you not only want to be passively waiting for your calling, but you're going to make it much easier for you, because the moment you're going to be called, you'll be able to automatically do some things. You'll not be scared to go on stage. You're not going to be scared to shake somebody's hand, or maybe you just have a skill or the sense to be able to look nice and wear clothes that are going to be needed when you're going to end up in some high tier group of people, business people, entertainment people, who knows. It's gonna be easy, and because you're gonna be fluent in being that person. You won't have to learn it on the fly. And then if you're gonna ask your father, he'll give you exactly what you're gonna need. And many times the only thing that is needed is your want, your being ready to learn more, to prove that you're preparing yourself mentally and you're actively looking to be better, to get better skill, to prepare yourself from the moment that he'll come to you and ask you to join him in his mission. So this is what I want you to take from this video. If you're watching those videos, if you're listening and you're interested in those subjects, it means that you're at least mature enough to understand that you're not here on this planet for no reason. Quite on the contrary. You understand that you're here and there's a specific plan that you've been assigned to. you understand that whoever you are, the way you were created, with every bug and feature, every strength and weakness, so-called, everything that is in you was put there for a reason, and you're basically, you are prepared and you've been designed this way so you could deliver on whatever is planned for you. So if you're one of these people, give yourself permission to put yourself in a situation when you're gonna make this whole thing easier for you. Make yourself more powerful, make yourself more prepared, and make yourself much more eloquent in your Father's eyes. Because you can. So think about it and do something about it. Because looking back at Moses, there are two ways you may approach that moment of being called. You can try to run away, or you can prepare yourself in advance. If you're going to try to run away, well, you're going to learn the hard way that you're going to get into your calling anyway. It's just going to be much more painful experience than it's supposed to be. So be the smart one. Be someone who prepares yourself in advance. And be someone who will not make your father angry, but be someone who he'll be able to appreciate. Just because, even though you know that it's going to be over your head, you're doing everything to prove that you want to be ready, and you're just waiting for that day for a long time. If you liked this video, like, share, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think and what is your experience. If there's anything you want me to talk about, just give me a shout. I'll be glad to talk about it for you. And that being said, see you tomorrow.